Well, the Detroit Lions certainly made it interesting on Sunday night, didn't they? After losing a 17-3 lead to take this game to overtime and win it on the first possession of OT. But now it's ranks of the week time, and we're going to take a look at your Detroit Lions and just where they stack up this week with the rest of the league. And we're going to kick that off right away with PFF. So PFF, as you guys know, has a ton of different stats and metrics, but there's a few of them that they can't screw up, and these are the ones that I believe in are still accurate. So let's kick it off right away with offense. Your Detroit Lions offense is ranked, you won't believe this, 12th after week one. Is it an overreaction kind of week? Yes, absolutely. Week one is terrible, right? There's a lot of frauds that are finishing where they shouldn't be and winning games that they shouldn't be, but those things will even out as time goes. And this was a very tough, very, very tough first game for the Detroit Lions. But 68.7 is where the offense finishes after week one. And overall, your Detroit Lions finished in fifth overall as a team at 78.8, behind the New Orleans Saints, Minnesota Vikings, San Francisco 49ers, and get this, Seattle Seahawks finished in first place with an overall ranking of 91.5. Remember when I said that there's frauds in the beginning of the season? So your Detroit Lions pass game did not get off to a great start. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta clearly had a very rough go at it on Sunday. Jameson Williams, the lone bright spot for the passing game, but that still did not help Jared Goff. Lions finished 40.4. PFF score, 40.4. I don't know if I've ever seen a score this low for Jared Goff in the Detroit Lions passing game in the last three seasons. But that's good enough for 28th. Believe it or not, there was some teams that were worse. Now, in your pass blocking grade for this offensive line, pass blocking, Detroit Lions finished 12th, 72.6. So not terrible. I mean, obviously the Lions still have, a lot of room to grow here, and they will. They will do just that. In the receiving game, pass grade for pass routes, if you will, Detroit Lions finished 22nd at a 61.1. So not a great start, right? Now your run game. Could we have finished a little bit higher? You're absolutely right. Your Detroit Lions finished in first place in the PFF ranks with an 87.3. 87.3, obviously on the backs of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and the lone run by Jameson Williams there. What an excellent way to get out on top in week one and continue to show just how good they are in the run game. Now we're going to flip it to the defensive side of the ball. But before we do the run blocking grade, just so you guys are aware, Lions finished 14th with a 70. So much more room to improve here for the Detroit Lions, which is good, right? Because if what we saw was the best of what they had, that would not be good. And we know they're much better than that. So defensive rank, defensive overall score for your Detroit Lions. Get this, overall rank, Lions finished third in PFF's scoring metrics with a 79.6. Get this, behind the Minnesota Vikings, who I told you guys from the very beginning that defense was going to be really good and could be one of the better defenses in the league, let alone the NFC North. And then the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, this defense was no joke. That part of the team I don't feel is fraudulent. I do believe that the Seattle Seahawks have a really good defense this year, but we need to let time pass and see how those things even out over the next couple of weeks here. Run defense grade. How well did we stack up against the run? Not bad. Finished at 6th. Detroit Lions scored a 71.7. Tackling grade, I'm really surprised here because we had a few players that missed a lot of tackles. 75.4, good enough for first place in the NFL. First place, we are top the charts here for PFF. Pass rush, this is a big one. Where did the Lions finish? Well, they finished on the backs of Marcus Davenport and Aidan Hutchinson and Levi Onwuzurike, and even Kyle Pecco having his day at the office. 90.7. Detroit Lions finished with a 90.7. First in the NFL to start week one. Are we frauds? Is this a week one overreaction? There was so much to clean up on the defensive side of the ball. This one has me excited. I am super excited to see that we got out to such a good start in such a bad game. Like, there was a lot of parts to this game that were just bad. But there's a lot of areas of this game that were really good. So we'll see what happens here in week two. Coverage. So coverage aspect of the Detroit Lions was not their best suit. Warren on Sunday there. They had a rough go at it. Whether it was Puka Nacua early in the game, it was Cooper Kupp down the stretch, Kobe Parkinson at times. It didn't matter. Demarcus Robinson, every single one of those players that Matthew Stafford threw the ball to had some success on Sunday. And the Detroit Lions finished kind of middle of the pack here, 18th with a 64.5 PFF grade. What I will say is this, very encouraging start by Terry and Arnold. Don't stop being aggressive. And Carlton Davis, even though, look, there was a couple of bad plays in there, a couple of big ones. One big one for sure that went the distance. That one he wishes he had back. But you take that one off the board, and the Detroit Lions DBs did not have that bad of a day outside of dropping what should have been probably 3 interceptions additional, which would have given us our 5 that I thought the Lions would have had on Sunday. So anyway, special teams, Lions didn't do so hot, but didn't do so bad either. Perfect for field goals, perfect for extra points. 71.1 PFF grade, good enough for 9th in the league. I think that this could be a much better score. We have the best punter. We will have the best kicker at some point during his career. And we have some dogs on that special teams unit. I expect the Lions to be at the top, near the top for special teams here pretty soon. Let's get into some other grades here. Let's talk about top 5 offensive scores for the Detroit Lions. David Montgomery finishes at the top at 86.6. Waymo Williams finishes in second, 83.4. Graham Glasgow, the guy that I told you from day one when the season ended, we had to have him back. Best lineman of the day, 82.2 for the Detroit Lions. Penei Sewell, he got rocked with an ankle injury early in the game, 78.9. Toughed it out. The dude's got a set of Steelies on him, man. He played through it. And Frank Ragnow didn't have his best day at the office, but he had a very solid day, 70.3. Is anybody surprised that we have 3 offensive linemen in the top 5 of the offense? I'm certainly not. And according to Ben Johnson, this is what he had to say. Johnson was not surprised at all by the 100-yard receiving performance and a touchdown from Jameson Williams in week 1. Given what Johnson had seen from Williams over the last few months, Johnson made a great point when he also said that the difference between a good player and a great player in this league is consistency. And that is something that I've been talking about a lot with Jameson Williams. We've seen him do it now in week 1. What is he going to bring in week 2? And can he be a consistent threat or at least an outlet for Jared Goff when we're having a rough patch, when Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta just can't get things going? So we need to see J-Mo do it again and again and again with consistency. Now, your bottom 5 on offense, well, we're going to start right off with Jared Goff. 43.2, worst grade on the offense. Look, not his fault, right? But still kind of his fault. I mean, he had a rough go not being able to get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, his 2 favorite targets on offense. The offensive line was having trouble at times, and it was just a bad day. It was a tough defense, one of the better defenses we're going to face this season, and he'll bounce back. Jared Goff always does. And I'm glad that he started off on the floor to start week 1 because we still won the game, found a way to win, and good teams find ways to win. And Jared Goff made the plays when we needed to, and this offense made the plays when they needed to. Brock Wright, 47.1. Parker Hess, you know what? I don't even care about his score. I really don't. Because that dude was standing on business all day blocking for Demo and Jahmyr Gibbs. Did an excellent job, in my opinion. I saw him take on Jared Verse at times, Byron Young at times. He got his nose in there and made plays. So big ups to Parker Hess. I can't wait to see how he does the rest of this season. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a terrible day. His worst day at the office probably since his rookie season. 51.1. And Khalif Raymond, he was non-existent, 54.9. Now, here's the bad from Ben Johnson. He says, what was the number one disappointment for Johnson regarding the play of the offense in week 1? This was the question. He particularly lamented the 4 3-and-outs the offense had in the contest. He said that they can't put their defense in a bad spot like that. The Lions were 6 of 13 on 3rd down. And you guys know that's our home run down. Like 3rd down is our down. Just like 4th down has always been our down. But 3rd down, man, the Lions usually either A, don't get in a bad spot to be in a bad 3rd down. And we kind of treat 2nd down as our 3rd down. But for whatever reason this weekend, we just couldn't get some things going. These guys are a little bit rusty. Well, they knocked the rust off. It's time to move forward. So that's the bad. Overall, for the defense, Ben Johnson said that, the identity on this offense is he said that he loved their identity to be a unit that can do anything. I think that they already can. I think they've already proven that they can. He also said they have a dominant offensive line. They feel that they can run behind consistently. We've seen that. But they also have speed on the outside to play the long game. They have a very versatile tight end and an all-pro slot receiver working in the middle of the field, which is obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he said the good offenses are able to counter what a defense tries to take away. And Johnson feels like he has that in Detroit. And I personally feel like that's what they did on Sunday. They were thrown everything, even the kitchen sink at the Detroit Lions. The LA Rams were. And they found a way to move around it. You know what they say, man. If you can't go through it, go around it. Figure out a way. Under it, over it, around it, doesn't matter. Just keep pushing forward. And that's what the Lions did. Moving on, top 5 defense. Top 5 defense, none other than Aidan Hutchinson had a really good day. Score a 94 on the PFF rankings. Let me move this off to the side here. Alex Anzalone, man, this guy was all over the place. That score does not do him justice at all. Top 5 defense, though, 79 on the day. Derek Barnes, 77.1. Another guy that, he's really been working his way ever since he's been in Detroit. He's been working his way up, consistently showing up and making plays and just getting better and better. What was a special teamer is now a starter. And Derek Barnes had a good day. Kirby Joseph, right? I mean, the Predator, right? That's his new nickname. The Predator blended in real well, picking off Matthew Stafford. Timely interception. Much needed interception. 72.1. And Carlton Davis, 68.4. That was the top defensive scores. Now, you're probably wondering, man, how bad did it get? Because clearly we're missing some big names up there, right? And it did kind of get bad. Here's your bottom. Kyle Pecco. Again, that score does not do him justice. He was only in for about, I think, 46 snaps. He was fairly efficient on pass rush snaps. I think he was in for about 26 of them. 54, though. Just not a great score. Score only tells part of the story. You got to watch the tape. Brian Branch, dropping interceptions, missed tackles. Not the Brian Branch we saw last season. He'll shake it off. Jack Campbell. I'm a little worried about Jack Campbell. I'm expecting Tampa Bay to kind of go right at him this weekend. His coverage ability clearly is not there yet. He still needs some work. He's a dog in the run game. Lateral, sideline to sideline. He can get there. He's good at stuff in the run, but anything outside of that in coverage, he's shown to be a liability so far. I hope he cleans it up. It's just week 1, right? Terrion Arnold. His grade is what it is because I believe he had a couple of pass interference penalties that are knocking him down. They were big-time pass interference penalties that cost the Lions 30 yards roughly, and those things can't happen. He's got to continue to stay aggressive, but, man, is he a great tackler. And can he flip and match the receiver, staying hip to hip, really good coverage, sticky coverage. Again, he was just, a step or an inch or two away on a lot of plays. And for a rookie to come into his first game against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, where that was his home field for 12 seasons, he played very well. So big ups to Terrion Arnold. Could have been worse. I'm glad it wasn't. Josh Pascal, 58.7. Again, I'm just not impressed with Josh yet. We need to see more from him. We keep saying it's just week 1, right? Well, it's kind of been week 1 for Josh Pascal ever since he was drafted. It's time for him to really buckle it up and get down to business. Hopefully has a better week here in week 2. Let's get into the top 5 overall for your Detroit Lions in week 1. Aidan Hutchinson, 94. David Montgomery, 86.6. Jameson Williams in the 3rd spot, 82.2. Alex Anzalone at 79. And Penei Sewell, 78.9. But we're missing one in there. There should be, if I'm not mistaken here, Graham Glasgow should be there, 82.2, above Penei Sewell's. Be that as it may, we're going to get into one more overall team here. Overall team grades, team, right? Pass rush, 90.7. Run game, 87.3. Love it. Overall defense, 79.6. And tackling, 75.4. Look, we have areas to improve on. And that's going to be one for this week. Pass blocking, 72.6. Jared needs more time. This offensive line is already banged up. I don't like seeing that. But they have to move forward, and they will. So those are your top grades of the week. Obviously, Aidan Hutchinson had a pretty phenomenal week. Obviously, there's some things that he needs to clean up as well. There's one more thing that I want to throw at you here, though. Detroit Lions, big time power rank of the week 2. They cracked the top 3, right? Overall power rank behind the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Your Detroit Lions are in the 3rd spot, up 1 spot prior to week 1. They were in number 4, believe it or not. But the Lions won in a playoff-like atmosphere on Sunday night against the Rams. And, a team that they barely put away in the playoffs just 8 months ago. It was not the explosive offensive performance that we were looking for. We've kind of come to expect this from Detroit week in and week out, that we're just going to put up 30 points and make it very difficult on defenses. That didn't happen this week. It was a very tough game, but it was a very impressive showing of our toughness, right? Our grit. And nonetheless, man, this offensive line went in there in overtime and just shown that they could do it. They put the team on their back and they just let Monty eat, man. Just let him get to what he does best. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown really cannot have these kinds of performances going forward. That's a big part of this team. The chemistry and the motivation going forward is when Amon-Ra is having a good game, everyone starts to have a good game. When Amon-Ra's working, the play action's working. When Jared Goff's able to thread that ball around, and everybody's kind of getting involved, that's when this offense really opens up. If Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta start to get shut down in games, that's where we need to see other players step up. Thankfully, JMO was able to do that this week. We just don't know what's going to happen going forward when, teams are going to get better. Week by week, they're going to get better. They're going to figure things out. They're going to have more tape. But overall, great performance by the Detroit Lions. Tough performance. First round cornerback Terrion, like I said, Terrion Arnold, man, he was up against it all night. It didn't matter if it was Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp, Kobe Parkinson, Demarcus Robinson, Jordan Whittington. It didn't matter. Whoever he had to go up against, he had a pretty tough ride in this game. But it was good to see that he kept himself grounded. Nothing was too big, and he played well in this game. So big game coming up here against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm not going to highlight them at this moment, but as far as the rest of the week 1 defensive scores or defensive rankings, according to Pro Football Network, your Detroit Lions right now are ranked 15th in the league for overall defense. The Detroit Lions week 1 performance was the opposite of the Buffalo Bills, according to Pro Football Network. They impressed on the scoreboard, but not in terms of their advanced metrics. Nothing about the Lions' stats stood out as particularly impressive. So having them stay around average at 15 is kind of the right move, according to their grading system. Now, holding Los Angeles to 20 points is something that they can be very proud of, which is also something that I expected. But the metrics behind it really didn't paint the same picture. It will be intriguing to see if Detroit has a similar scoreboard success against Tampa Bay Bucks, which it's going to be a tough one. But again, it's going to be 20 points or less, in my opinion. It's got to be an impressive showing again this week, offensively and defensively. They've got to get it together. This is not going to be an easy matchup on Sunday. Couple of other stats I wanted to throw at you. And I found these ones kind of interesting. Let me pull it up here. So for week 1, when you get into the next gen stats and you really start to look at the nuances, the finer details of the game, I found this really interesting. And this will be the last one or two that I talk about. Defensive pass rush. We just spoke about it at length this morning. What is a pass rush, pressure? What is a pressure? How does it affect the game? And according to next gen stats, the defensive pass rush for the Detroit Lions, they did an average separation from the quarterback metric. I know. It's another wild metric, right? Here's what it means. A pass rusher's average pressure distance from the quarterback at the time of the passer throw or sack in yards. So it's how close they are at time of pressure that the quarterback releases the ball or gets sacked. And it only includes passing plays where the defender is rushing the passer. Get this. You probably won't believe this. Who do you think had the best overall defensive pass rush in week 1 for the Detroit Lions? You all said Aidan Hutchinson. I know you did. And that's okay. Marcus Davenport. I know. I couldn't believe it either. But Marcus Davenport, on average, was 4.01 yards away from the QB. Aidan Hutchinson, 4.38 yards away from the QB. Levi O, 4.67 yards. Oli McNeil, 5.06 yards. Here's the league average, 4.56. So 2 Detroit Lions under the league average. Levi O just above it by 1/10 of a point. And Oli McNeil 0.5 point out. So pretty solid stuff here from Marcus Davenport. And man, I'm excited to see where he grows. I know that there's a lot of people that just don't have a lot of confidence in Marcus Davenport, whether it's the injury history or just his ability. I think that you're missing something here. I think Marcus Davenport's going to be really good for this team going forward. So that's really it. That's your ranks of the week. Wrapping it up for week 1 here. Obviously, we're working on Tampa Bay tonight here at 6:30, 7 p.m. And then the Cannon Fire podcast will be joining us as well tonight. So go on Pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you right back here on Thursday next week doing your ranks of the week. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.